So welcome back to the afternoon session of the W3C Advisory Community Meeting. And this afternoon, the first session is about what's going on in our community. So the W3C Board of Directors, the AB and the W3C team set up a joint task force, the membership task force, to gather information and provide recommendations to the management team and the Board of Directors about the W3C membership strategy. Wendy and Naomi from the task force will give us a report about the outcomes of the 2024 membership survey.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all, and welcome to everyone who's joining us remotely. I've been tasked with giving what I like to think of as the boring part of the presentation, where I will be talking all about numbers, and Naomi gets to give the fun, forward-looking, inspiring part of the presentation. So, as Anchi mentioned, the membership task force was formed as a joint task force between members of the board of directors, members of the team, and members of the AB. So the current task force composition is Seth as our chair, Chunming as our representative from the board of directors, myself as representative from the AB, Svea and Naomi as members of team, and it would be remiss of me not to mention the contribution of David Singer, who is the other board of directors member, who was part of the task force for most of last year and left after his retirement in September. For those of you who don't remember the survey, a quick reminder on what happened. So we ran the survey between August 5th and September 13th of last year, and our target group was the W3C community, specifically account holders and external members. We used Typeform as the survey platform, and we received over 1,200 responses, which was a very pleasant surprise. Now, as we expected, there was some spam. So after running the results and validating them, we ended up with about 851 total results, with 601 of those being from members specifically. We distributed the survey through several methods because we wanted to reach as many people in our community as possible. And so we used email, social media, and news posts around the world. Through email, we directly reached over 850 participants using AC Forum, the working group chairs, and CG chairs. And the survey was distributed on social media through W3C's accounts on Mastodon, LinkedIn, Weibo, WeChat, and Bilibili. Hope I'm saying that last one correctly. So what did we learn from the survey? So of the 851 responses we received, we learned that 88% of the responses came from Europe, North America, and Asia. This is not surprising, but it also comes to show that we can enhance our participation outside of those regions and really need to. 52.5% of our membership is under the age of 44, but 80% of us fall between the ages of 25 to 64. Again, not surprising. It was a pleasant surprise to learn that the gender split at W3C is 72.3% male and 18% female. This is a marked increase versus other standard-setting organizations where female participation is lower. But I do want to note that we did have questions around the membership of our community that identified as non-binary or transgender. However, we made a mistake in that question, which is why I don't include the numbers here, because our community members very kindly pointed this mistake out, but it messes up the numbers and it inaccurately reports them. So in the 2025 edition, we will be correcting that. Again, unsurprisingly, 52.7% of us work in technology, followed by 20.6% in education and research, 13.7% in accessibility, good job accessibility, and 13.1% in professional services. A number that actually took me quite by surprise is the percentage of our community that works in organizations with less than 500 employees. 61% of us come from organizations with less than 500 employees, and very notably, 37% of us come from organizations with fewer than 10, which means that we are made up of quite a few startups, and that is amazing to see. We also asked questions about participation. 12% of us joined within the last 5 years, so we've had pretty significant membership joining since 2020. 15.9% have been with us for over 10 years, which is, a good retention rate. When people told us that why they stopped participating, because we did ask, lack of time was the most common reason cited. People participate to contribute to standards and to stay informed on standards that impact their work. And most of us responded that we spend 4 hours or less per week on standards activity. And I am so proud of most of you for having healthy work-life balance. 70.8% of us participate in 3 groups or less. Again, good job, good work-life balance. And the most common barrier to participation was cited as being unsure where to start or how to get involved. We noted that the information barrier to doing participation in this organization is still too high. 40% of us only participate in W3C, which is awesome. But if for the remaining 60% that happen to be part of another standards organization, it is most likely to be ISO, WG, or IETF. Oop, managed to do that twice. In terms of communications, we asked the community around how do they prefer to hear from us. 45.8% of respondents preferred email over other mediums to learn about activities, to provide feedback to leadership, and to participate in discussions within the organization. GitHub was a close second, particularly on the participating in discussions or joining meetings. Opinion about the quality of communication on technical activities was actually split. So just under half of the community rated us well on our communications, and just under half rated us as needing to do better. This is really informative because it means that we can adapt our communications and find ways to improve. One of the findings that I took out of this was actually the development of the digest that I release once a month, or try to release once a month. I'm sending it this week, I promise, to see if we can get more participation and just better communication. In terms of perceptions, we wanted to understand how W3C was viewed in comparison to our other standard setting organizations. Majority of respondents rated us highly, which was nice to see, thank you. We were rated as highly on our standards being important to society, that we were a neutral discussion forum, and that there was global recognition of our standards. These were all great things to see. And when directly compared to other standards organizations, in general, we were rated the same, or maybe a little bit better, maybe a bit biased. But our most positive responses related to our openness and our fairness in participation, and the quality of the standards that we produce. So overall, very good results and very informative, but I am going to hand it over now to Naomi, who's going to tell you about the insights and what comes after this.
Thank you, Wendy. Naomi Yoshizawa, W3C. So from here, we will look at insights and next steps based on the results, survey results in 4 areas: diversity, current membership satisfaction, membership engagement, and benchmarking. First, diversity. Insights. As Wendy already shared, although the W3C membership is diverse, there is still not a great deal of participation from Africa, Southeast Asia, and younger generations. This is a topic that receives a lot of feedback as something that still will have to embody literally diversity in the future. So what should we do about the next steps? This is a sort of repeat of what is already listed in Sylvia's W3C development program, which is good to have the same direction. Establish support systems for participation in countries with low engagement. Foster a more inclusive and diverse environment within working groups. Those are the proposals from the survey in terms of diversity. Membership satisfaction. Great news! W3C is highly valued as a platform for influencing web standards and aligning with organizational goals. It's really good feedback that the participants are aware of it and thinking out like this. And it is also recognized for its neutral, consensus-driven approach, fostering global relevant standardization. At the same time, it is also pointed out that the relatively slow speed of the standardization and a lack of diversity, as mentioned earlier, that are needed to be improved. So what should we do about the next steps on membership satisfaction? Initiate discussions on increasing agility in decision-making and processes. Improve the speed of standardization process. Strengthen inclusivity and diversity within the organization. And continue discussions on potential adjustment to the membership fee structure, considering member satisfaction level. Membership engagement. Insights. The benefits of W3C membership include direct involvement in web standards, industry networking, and staying updated on accessibility and next generation standards. Also, received a lot of positive comments on membership enhances organizational visibility and allows influence over web solutions benefiting users and broader ecosystem. And at the same time, it was pointed out that the barriers to participation included time zone issue, steep learning curve, a lack of up-to-date, no summarized information, and real-time visibility. So what should we do about the next steps on membership engagement? Improve communication methods for better information sharing and real-time visibility. Evaluate new tools and methods for sharing updates, such as dashboard, podcast, and interactive events. Strengthen onboarding processes to support new participants. Address regional and linguistic barriers for foster broader inclusion. And analyze how similar organizations enhance participation, streamline onboarding, and promote diversity. Lastly, benchmarking. Insights. Comparison with IETF, W3C, and ISO, which is actually de jure standard organization, but it has referenced as another organization, will be necessary as will, as will consideration for improvements. This is from a perspective of speed, process, transparency, and diversity. So what should we do about the benchmarking? Investigate the operational models of other SDOs. Identify best practices from peer organizations and assess how they can be adopted to align with W3C's culture. Conduct an industry-specific needs analysis to ensure W3C remains aligned with technological advancements and member expectations, and implement strategies to enhance agility, inclusivity, and efficiency based on benchmarking insights. Those are the results of the survey, insights, and next steps. The task force is now trying to create an open to public materials and publish with a cooperation with the marketing communications team. And we have already started preparing for the 2025 survey, including beta tooling. It has not yet been discussed whether or not to convey the survey on the same scale again. The task force will conduct future survey while taking into account the areas for improvement. So your feedback is always appreciated. Listening is always important. But we can't keep listening. If we don't make things happen, this discussion lasts forever. So we will have to make the voices heard. Through the future surveys, we will continue to make progress, even if it's only a little at a time. Thank you.